Are you doing more harm than good when you protect a family member or loved one from being arrested or apprehended by police? Please stick around, and I'm going to explain to you why having your family member or loved one apprehended or arrested by police for a variety of offenses might be the best thing you could do for that family member. So throughout my entire policing career, over 20 years with the largest municipal police service in the country, I've attended hundreds, if not thousands, of calls from distraught family members of loved ones who are at their wits' end and have nowhere else to turn. And they're just looking for advice. They want police to scare, usually it's their son or daughter, but they want police to scare this family member, but they don't want them arrested. They can't bear to see this family member placed in handcuffs, brought to the station, or whatever the case. Now, I know this can happen with all family members, but in my personal experience, most of the time it's been parents or guardians calling on their sons. It could also be their daughters. It could be brothers and sisters calling on one another. It could be children calling on their parents or guardians. So I'm going to use the most common scenario that I've seen, which is parents phoning the police for assistance with their sons, okay, for a variety of reasons. It could be allegations of drug use. Most often there's proof of drug use and behavior that seems to be worsening. There's allegations of theft. They're stealing things from other family members, bringing them to the pawn shop, trying to get basically money any way they can, from purses, they're getting their PIN codes to the bank cards, whatever the case is, they need money. Oftentimes, there's been allegations of previous police involvement, whatever that could be. There could have been warnings, there could have been caught shoplifting, whatever the case is. But most often, there are some previous interactions with the police. Now, in this scenario, their son is stealing as much as they can to try to get money to buy more hard drugs or alcohol. They've spoken to their son numerous times. They've tried to get them help. They've put them in different rehab programs. Their son does not stick to it, maybe attend a day or two, never goes back. So again, police are called to the address. They don't want their son charged. They're just looking for any little bit of advice they can. Additional resources, which have been given to them numerous times in the past, but they don't want to move forward with charges. So if you've been trying for months or years to get your loved one help and are not following through with it, sometimes when that person is charged by police and they've gone through the court system, which can be frustrating in itself, I know, but sometimes the court places conditions on that person that they have to attend a treatment program. And that's the only time that they've had to stick to the treatment program, because if they don't, they're actually breaking their conditions, which can lead to more charges. So you've been trying for years and they haven't stuck through, but now the court has mandated some sort of counseling, rehab, addictions treatment, and they have to follow through with it. And the only time that they followed through with it is when it was mandated by the courts. Now, I'm not making this up. I've spoken with dozens and dozens of people, both the parents of loved ones and of course those who have been arrested. And I've heard firsthand that unless those actions were taken, they never would have taken the help that was required. Getting arrested was the best thing to ever happen to them, even though at the time their mother or father or guardian was crying because they saw their son in handcuffs, taken out the door, placed in the rear of a police car and brought to the station and processed. It was the best thing to ever happen because it's the only time they were actually forced to stick to the treatment. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some people who don't agree with that approach. The person can't be forced through the system, so to say. They have to be willing. They have to be a willing participant. And I get that. I understand that's a subject for another video, which I do plan on getting into. So please let me know what you think of this. Maybe you agree or disagree. Maybe you've had a whole other experience. I try to read all the comments. I don't always have time to get to them, but I try to be interactive and use this as more of a conversation. Sometimes these videos I make, they sound like rants, but I want this conversation to be ongoing. And there's people paying attention to these videos, and action is often taken because of some of the comments or the input from these videos. So I can't thank you enough. If you find this information helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I got lots more content coming out. If you have a loved one or you know somebody who is perhaps struggling with addictions in any way, I'm going to leave a number for you to call, some contact information. And besides that, again, thank you very much. And perhaps we will see you again.